days. The world is ready to welcome the return of two BTS stars. In 4 days, two names who have become the lifeblood of world music will return. Not just back on stage, not just back in the camera spotlight, but back in the arms of the millions of hearts that never stopped loving them. Jungkook and Jimin, two members of BTS who never dimmed even though the world changed, will soon close their conscription chapter. The world that has been holding its breath will finally be able to breathe freely. Armies in various directions have begun to count down the seconds, all prepared not just to welcome two stars, but to welcome two halves of souls who have gone for a while for the sake of state duty. In cafes, banners reading "Jungkook is back" are already installed. At stations and airports, fans began to prepare everything: banners, gifts, to handwritten messages they want to convey. Behind all this, one thing stands out the most: longing for Jimin's distinctive laugh, full of tenderness. Longing for Jungkook's voice that always brings home feelings. For more than a year, the world lost that light. But now we are no longer in the waiting period. We're on our way to the rendezvous point. The return of Jimin and Jungkook is not the end of the lull. It is the opening of a new story. In 4 days, the world of K-pop will move on again with an intensity that has not been felt since they left. Not because of popularity alone, but because they bring hope, warmth, and love that continues to grow even in times of silence. People ask, what will they do first? Will there be a live broadcast? Will they be present at public events together? But behind all those questions, the most important answer is, they will come back. And that was enough to make the world cry. That morning, the Seoul sky looked ordinary. But for millions of hearts, the date is not an ordinary date. Outside the gates of the military headquarters where Jungkook and Jimin had been carrying out state duties, a crowd of soldiers had been gathering since the early hours of the morning. Some came with scarves bearing their names. There are also those who hold flowers, letters, and not a few who only bring one thing: longing. When finally the fence opened slowly, time seemed to stop. Two silhouettes appeared in the distance. Their military uniforms are still intact, but the look in their eyes, warm, shady, and much deeper than before, keeps everyone in the know. They are no longer the same men they were when they came in. They have passed the test, and they went home. Jimin was the first to raise his hand, waving towards the crowd. That smile, yes, the same smile that has always been the solace of many people, is now back in real form. No screens in the way, no time lag. He's really in there. Jungkook, on the other hand, lowered his head slightly. His shoulders were heaving, either because of the long breaths he was taking or the emotions he was trying to suppress. A few seconds later, he lifted his face and smiled a little. Then he looked at Jimin, and that second, cameras around the world captured a moment that will be remembered forever. One look, without a word, thousands of meanings, and at that moment, all know, they remain them. A few hours after their return, BTS official account uploaded a short video. The title is simple: We're Home. In the video, Jungkook and Jimin sit side by side in HYB's rehearsal room, still wearing their uniforms. Not much to say. Only the eyes continue to look around the camera, as if they know that behind the lens there are millions of faces waiting. "I miss you," Jimin said, slowly but firmly. "Really missed." Jungkook just smiled, then added, "I still can't believe I'm back. But seeing you all waiting, it feels like a sweet dream." They didn't talk for long, but enough to make the entire army feel one thing: their home has been returned intact. Sure. Here's a follow-up to the emotional story of BTS's Jungkook and Jimin's return. This time it describes the reaction of the world after the big day has passed, as well as how the two live the first day as civilians again, with warmth, silence, and meaning that are difficult to describe in words. The night after their return was a quiet but resounding night. Around the world, fan accounts are reposting videos, photos, and snippets of the moment when Jimin waved and Jungkook stared at the fans as if to say, "I'm here. I'm really here." Even international news stations such as BBC, CNN, to the media in France, Japan, Brazil, and Indonesia also covers the return of two names who are not only artists, but have become global icons of peace, hard work, and pure love. Shortly after they were released from the military headquarters, the two secretly headed for HYB. Not in a big flashy car, but in an ordinary vehicle, modestly escorted. I end the main rehearsal room, where BTS's memories are etched, where laughter and tears are left behind. Jungkook and Jimin sat opposite each other. Not many words, only meaningful silence. Jimin looked at the mirror in front of them. He sighed, then asked quietly, "Is all this real?" Jungkook nodded, slowly. "We're back." Without hesitation, they both smiled. And no need for music. No need for a stage. Because the real stage is their respective hearts, and now they are together again. Meanwhile, the ARMY community in various countries carried out extraordinary actions. From a large LED advertisement in Times Square reading, "Welcome home Jimin and Jungkook," up to thousands of peach blossom-shaped origami sent to the main post office in Seoul as a symbol of love, sincerity, and patience that is now bearing sweet fruit. In Tokyo, fans gather in public parks, dressed in white and purple as symbols of peace and love. They sang the song "Still With You" while carrying a small candle. A cry was heard not because it was sad, but because that long longing was now over. In the afternoon, Jim came home. There, his mother was already waiting with open arms. No ceremony, no camera. Just a long hug and a whisper, "My son is home." Jungkook, on the other hand, chose to remain silent. He climbed onto the roof of his old house in Busan. He sat there, looking at the night sky. He wrote a few words on his phone. Just a little note, but it's enough to make anyone cry. "1 year ago I left with fear. I came back today with a full heart. I'm not just going home. I went home to all of them, who never left me." The days ahead will continue as usual for the world. But for the ARMY, the world has changed. There are two stars that now shine more calmly. There are two voices that will again fill the spaces that were empty. And there is one promise that has now been kept. That true love never knows the distance. Jimin and Jungkook, you're back, and the world has never been happier. The day ended with a golden twilight sky. But for the world, that day is a new beginning. No matter what their next agenda is. It doesn't matter when they release a new song or give a concert. The important thing is, they're back. Healthy, smile, and still together. The 4-day wait is finally over. The days ahead will be filled with light, for the love that waits patiently will always come home, on time. And Jungkook and Jimin have proven it. 4 more days, the military gates will open. The sky will welcome two silhouettes walking side by side, and the worlds will be cheering, not because of empty celebration, but because two stars that never die have returned to their orbits. Jungkook and Jimin, welcome back. We never really left. We've been waiting for you, and now we're ready to welcome you home. With love, with tears, with a heart full again. 4 more days, and the world will shine brighter.